The old world releases are coming thick and fast now. We've had the Tomb King's army box, we've had the Bretonnian army box, a bunch of special stuff. And what do they go and announce now? Orcs and Goblins.
That was probably more childish than Orky, but anyway.
Yeah, I thought my son had woken up.
Anyone is too loud. Yeah, Orcs and Goblins.
Orcs
A
and
go-go.
Goblins. They are a go-go. I've got to say, it's not what I expected. I thought, given the dwarf dice that we'd seen leaked,
Yeah.
I suspected dwarfs, and I didn't think it would be this fast.
No, I thought it'd be... I didn't think it'd be announced on launch day.
No. I mean, I expected it to be dwarfs. What I did expect was it to be dwarfs and orcs and goblins at the same time. So that's kind of... I did expect orcs and goblins, but I didn't think it would be now.
No.
So, I mean, it does... So, I don't know if you, dear viewer, have heard the rumour that the shields here on the front of the book, they show the pairings that they were going to bring out. So you've had the two pair, here is Bretonnia and Tomb Kings to start, and Orcs and Goblins and Dwarfs were another pairing. I mean, the pairings are not exactly controversial, they're all quite nicely paired off.
No, and it's possibly reading a lot into the thing, but it does also make sense.
Yeah.
And works for a sample size of one so far.
A sample size of one. You'd also expect Wood Elves and Beastmen to go together.
Yeah.
So that's kind of red, taken as red. So, you know.
And the narrative of the Empire at the moment being by itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense as well.
They're all basically fighting with themselves.
Yeah.
So, this Orcs and Goblins announcement, it could add credence to that idea that we're going to see these pairings, and these will be the pairings. We don't know when we'll see them, but these will be.
But it does look like the pairings won't be quite done the same way maybe as the two big boxes.
Well, so that Robin had a very good point to make actually off camera, which was... Well, I'll let you tell them, actually. What was your excellent point?
So what they've announced for the Orcs and Goblins is a battalion box with old plastics in it.
Mm-hmm.
No characters, though it does list 31 orcs, so potentially they give you an extra model somehow that you can make a boss with, because that'd probably give, I don't know, maybe like a 400 point army or something like that. But these battalion boxes, and I was wondering if, are they just going to get, because the rest of the range is coming later, soon to follow it says, but it's very clear, double asterisk, not all at once, and even then it's going to be in waves based on metals, resins, old plastics. Would it make sense, and as I've said in all the other videos, at the moment if you're buying high elves on eBay it's quite expensive, if they can get the battalion boxes made up of just the old plastics for the core troops, and just pump the battalion boxes along with the Arcane Journal, because we're assuming they're all done. They're not. It's not like 40k where you're waiting for the Tyranid Codex to be written 6 months after the release. It seems like they're done. It's just when they come, isn't it? So can you get out your Arcane Journal, your limited edition dice and cards, 1 or 2 new characters as separate models, and your battalion box with the core troops in. So yes, you might not be able to go and buy Goblin Wolf Riders, but you can start building your Orc and Goblin force just with that box, and then, I don't know, soon after, it's not going to be a week after, but then we didn't think we were going to get this announcement the day of release.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
But however long after, then the Dwarf Battalion box comes out, and it's got, I don't know, Dwarf Warriors and some Thunderers and Quarrelers and a cannon. And that would kind of, 2 cannon or cannon thing, that would fit.
Which I think the crux of it.
And you get those cores out so that people can start building their armies.
I mean, if that is true, if that is how it's going to go, and we think actually it might be the case that it is, because if you look at the artwork on this Orcs and Goblins box, it's not paired, it's not an artwork, it's just a picture of the minis.
Yeah, it's your traditional...
Yeah, so it's not like they're going to have what the Tomb Kings and Bretonnians had with an artwork that merges with the boxes to make one big piece, and implying a pairing.
Just miniatures, no rule book, which is fine, because if you want to play multiple armies, do you want to pay 20 quid more every time for a book you've already got to?
Absolutely not. So we think we're going to see just a battalion box, and that these are not going to be paired now, is what we suspect. So while we think that you could see the dwarfs and the Orcs and Goblins come out, we don't think it'll be paired in a big release.
Yeah, you're not going to be getting a little book like you are in the instruction booklet for the Khemri and the battalions. At the back of it, has a 1249, a 1250 point list, including magic items.
Yes.
At the back of that, and those two are looking at the force compositions, kind of balanced, ready to go against each other for your first games if you bought one each or whatever. This isn't that. This is let's get the core of your army out so you can start building an orc force.
So while we think that you may very well see the dwarfs come out very close in time to Orcs and Goblins, it is not going to be a themed paired release, and that actually, like Robin says, that you're going to probably, we suspect you might see that the releases now are going to be quite fast, in that it's going to be a battalion box. For the core, yes, it'll be a battalion box, a couple of characters, and your book, and your dice, and your cards, and then they're going to rifle through those for all the major supported factions, get them out, and then they're going to come back and start padding out the ranges.
Yeah, because the list of the things in that orc range that they're bringing out is a big list. And the orcs have always had one of the biggest ranges, because you've got orcs, goblins, black orcs, varieties of goblins. But so if you're waiting for I think it was coming back in metal, the Snotling Pump Wagon, I reckon the Snotling Pump Wagon is probably coming after 2 or 3 more races have come out. They'll just fit into the normal GW release schedule of like we used to have in the 2000s, 90s with Warhammer. The army focus at the moment has been dwarves, but next week actually you'll be able to buy Wolf Riders for the first time again.
Yeah.
And they'll just be rolled into the schedule.
Rolled in.
Rather than trying to get everything out at once, which again they've struggled with for this pre-order. To try and release 2 mostly whole ranges. Kind of there's still a few things that are coming after.
Yeah, it's just not a thing, is it?
Just get the battalion boxes out. They've shown us the 2 new characters. I thought there'd be a new big monster. I thought that'd be their thing for every army.
I did as well.
Because their technology, the way they can make big kits now is obviously massively moved on. I expected to see a character and a cool big thing for every army. So, but get the 2 characters out, and they're Forge World resin as well. They're not plastic or anything like that. Get them out. Arcane Journal, Dice and Cards limited edition. It says that from the start. We know that fine. Core battalion box. Start your army. 2 weeks later, let's announce the next one. Let's go. I'm hoping that's the thing, because then that answers the question of, can I buy Wood Elves? What am I doing if I want to play Wood Elves? Well, okay, wait 4 months and the core thing's out rather than waiting 2 years.
And also, it limits that idea that people's nostalgia and enthusiasm for this game is going to wear off because they can't buy anything for 10 months.
And you're looking at eBay and going, well, but 1 unit's costing me X amount.
Yeah, I can wait an unspecified number of months, possibly years, and get that unit from a reasonable price, or buy it from the scalper.
But if they say battalion boxes are going to come,
then you wait.
With your cores in, maybe you can't get your Warhawk Riders straight away, but at least you can start playing with the army you really want to play with.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good way of doing it. The boxes are cool. The boxes are incredibly cool. The artwork on them is fantastic. And they're always going to be in print. So they're going to be, if you're brand new to the hobby, aren't they? If you're brand new to Warhammer and you want to get an army, then you don't know the rules. Those 2, they've said, are always going to be, once they're in stock, they'll always be available.
Yeah.
That's your starting point. So those 2.
I do think it's interesting in terms of the speed of releases of those battalion boxes. These 2 armies are out. The army boxes are out, but you can't go and buy a box of chariots. You can't buy a box.
No, the individual components are not available yet.
They're not available yet. So you're stuck with. I say stuck with. That's not fair. But you've got the 2 army boxes, and then the units they've released so far, which is not all of them.
No, you can't go and buy skeleton.
No, you can't buy skeleton warriors. So it implies that actually they are going to try and just get something out of everything.
Which makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because that's how you keep people engaged.
I would agree.
All these people that say, well, it's nostalgia on you, that want to be engaged, but there's nothing for me. Get something out.
Yeah.
So that people can at least start buying, painting, whatever. That seems a way to get people staying in the system, rather than going, I love the idea of it, and I got my army book because that was good value, and then I left because I couldn't get my army.
Yeah, no, because the actual announcement, Orcs and Goblins, did surprise me, because if they're going to announce anything, especially given we had the leak of the dwarf dice, it was going to be my little hairy men, the dwarfs.
I guess If they can just get something out for everyone, and that's what it looks like. The idea of the battalion boxes.
Yeah, something out for everyone. Drip feed it to an extent to everyone. Everyone has something, and everyone can do something and take part in this fantastic game, and then they can come back and give us the rest.
And the announcement was also kept separate from. It wasn't announced at the Las Vegas Open, the same weekend as the LVO, but it wasn't part of those.
Because the LVO's done now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Finished yesterday, maybe.
What day is it today?
Saturday, 20th, launch day.
Yeah, I knew it was the 20th. I just didn't know what day it was.
Yeah, so, but it wasn't part of those announcements. It was just announced through the Warhammer community of this is what's next.
Yeah, so I was following the LVO reveals.
Yeah.
The email. I was like, where's my old world stuff?
Yeah, which sounds a bit entitled because we have just had a whole new game.
It does. But I was promised old world stuff, and then it came on Warhammer community. I hadn't clocked that.
No,
it wasn't LVO.
Really interested to see how long it. There's no dates given either. It just says.
Yeah.
And the wording.
It's going to be fast though.
You can read a lot into the wording. If you and obviously you can make it fit whichever you want, because it was. I'm not quoting word for word now, but it was, we're looking at release it and the orcs are fastest on the trigger. Now, does that just mean there's like a joking thing of we're going to show you them first, or does it mean they're coming next? You would assume it means they're coming next.
I also think if you look further down, it tells you about the wave, and it names so the thing's coming back, and it's given all the orc units, and then it has a hyphen,
and then it says,
plus,
and then lists some goblin units and those, but these will be available later. And it's like, is it just the goblin units that are available later? Is this whole line of things available later? Because that's where they're talking about all the old plastics before you get to the metals and resins.
The way I read that, it was, and I could be wrong, but it was that the orc stuff is coming.
Yeah, that's
goblins are going to be waiting to come out later.
Orc boys, orc arrow boys, and arrow boys. That's how they listed it. Black orcs, boar riders, and I feel like it might have said orc boss, maybe. With that, and then hyphen. Then list some goblin stuff. Yeah, so that to me implies the orc stuff is coming first, but you are getting goblins in the
next
battalion box as well.
Yeah, and then the rest of the goblins. So, because if I'm honest, I'm not the biggest greenskin fan, but I absolutely love goblins. Orcs I can take or leave, but goblins, I'm in it for goblins. I love them. Yeah. So I'll probably keep my powder dry until I could just get goblins and monsters.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how they actually release it. If that's the way it goes and that means things are quicker, then I can live without fancy artwork.
Yeah. So, I think actually it implies something very exciting for the game, because I was worried it would slightly atrophy because there wasn't.
I thought it was going to be the Praetorian to Tomb King game.
Yeah, I was worried it would be that
for the next 4 months.
Yeah.
There'd be some sneak peeks and things. But I thought we'd get.
But we're getting more.
It still might be 3 or 4 months before we actually get this box.
Yeah, but they're not going to announce it that quickly, surely, if it was going to be that long.
They didn't announce this 5 years ago.
That's...
I'm not saying it's going to be 5 years to get orcs.
I don't. Now we have the rules.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be quicker than that. But I thought we were going to be stuck's not the right word, but it was going to be if you wanted to get stuff from GW officially and have, you were going to. Ignoring the legacy PDFs and the fact that you had to get models for them, that's a whole separate subject, which I'm sure we'll cover. If you wanted to get into it, it was going to be a 2-faction thing for a while, I thought.
Yeah,
but it seems like
exciting.
It's not going to be for as long as I thought it was. And that's good. So
overall, while neither of us are the biggest Orcs and Goblins fan, actually this announcement has got us both quite excited.
It's just another step on the path to High Elves.
Yeah, I mean, my plan is to basically have all the armies, so...
Well, the trouble is, if they release them quickly, I could be tempted.
Well, that is...
Price point will be interesting whenever they announce that. That would be the interesting thing for that battalion box set.
I think that would tell us a lot, yeah.
Because there's quite a bit in it.
There is a lot in it. It looks like it could... If it is what we think it's going to be, I think it's going to be very good value. I think it's... I would hope that we're going to see the old plastics when they come out on their own. They will be.
It said in the article as well about being reboxed and available in bigger boxes. So,
right.
If you just look at the what's in the battalion box, 40 goblins are listed together, even though they're built clearly as spearmen and arrow boys, and there are 30 orcs. Is that going to be the size of the individual boxes? Is it going to be 30 orcs in a box, 40 goblins in a box?
That's what to find out.
That'll be.
And then we'll find out what that one extra orc is
Yeah, he's not on the chariots because there's an even number on the chariots. Where
we
where the
counted.
orc comes from.
Yeah, so that's actually going to really annoy me now, working out where that one orc comes from.
Not
So
in
the sooner they either clarify they made a mistake, or to tell us where the one orc is.
But it is worth mentioning there's things in bags in the 2 starter boxes, which I've never seen from GW
No.
before. So they may actually bag up the bits for an individual orc and just put him in there, stapled to the inside of the box.
If he's in there for too long, you just get a mushroom.
But yeah, very exciting, and it seems things are happening quicker than we thought.
So buckle up, because we could be in for a very exciting 2024 with lots and lots and lots of new old world stuff.
Hopefully.
Cracking. See you guys later.